Hello, everyone. This is Rick Goff. I am bringing you a special interview with umpire Kristi Moore, who was assaulted this past weekend at a softball game. Kristi, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Kristi, the first thing I notice is, and I'm sure everybody's going to notice, is your eye. That is a pretty big shiner that you've got there.
Yes, yes, it is. It's all the way across my cheekbone, all the way up into my eyelid. So, yeah.
So for those of you that might not be familiar with the story, we're going to get into a little bit. Kristi Moore put out a post on social media on Sunday night, right? Kristi, it was Sunday night?
Yes.
Sunday night, and this thing took traction and gained steam like wildfire across the community of the sports world, the youth sports world, and in the umpire world. Kristi, what day did this happen?
This happened on Saturday, approximately about 7 p.m.
And what state was this in?
This was in Mississippi.
Mississippi. So Saturday afternoon in Mississippi, and it was a girls' softball game, correct?
Yes.
What
12.
age?
12.
12U. All right, so I'm gonna give you the floor, Kristi. I want you to explain to everyone exactly what happened. You didn't really go over in your post. You just kind of made a statement on your post that I think everybody appreciates. But in your own words, tell us what happened.
Okay, I am actually the UIC for organization in Mississippi, so I'm not really on the field for our tournaments unless I have an umpire that has an emergency or somebody gets sick. And in this case, I had an umpire get sick. So I got on the field and was calling this 12U game. And this group of parents had been kind of unruly from the beginning. And I had actually already tossed a lady prior to this lady and for screaming profanities across the field. And then this lady disagreed with a call that I made at second base. And she just started screaming and
Was she screaming from the dugout?
She was screaming from the stands at the fence.
From the stands.
She was at the fence, screaming. And it was just, F you, I'm gonna F you up. I just calling me all kinds of things, just screaming out, threatening me. And so I told her I was like, ma'am, you're gonna have to leave. We can't have that kind of language. And you threatening me in front of the children. This is not appropriate. You know, you're gonna have to go. And she refused to leave. So I walked over to the dugout and told the coach that she had to leave or I was going to forfeit the game and he was going to leave because we were not going to continue this game with this kind of behavior in front of the children. And he just kind of motioned down there and told her to leave. He never got up off his bucket or anything. And so she went to leave. She turned around and she said, when you get off this field, I am going to slap the F out of you. And
Really?
Yeah, really. Right there in front of everybody. So
I have to stop you right here. So at this point, is there a tournament director around or somebody of authority that could step in and help you out with this?
I'm not sure exactly where the tournament director was at that moment, but nobody obviously did.
Okay, so
step in.
continue,
So,
please.
she said that, and then she walked off. So we continued the game, and I was under the assumption, and looking back very wrongly, that she had left because I no longer saw her anywhere around. And so we finished the game. We probably played maybe 2 more innings after that, an inning and a half or so. And we finished the game. My partner and I were leaving the field. And in Laurel, we have a gate behind home plate. So you don't have to exit out of the dugout. You can just leave behind.
Oh, nice.
And I turned around. This is where I messed up. I turned around. My partner didn't realize that I had turned around. I went back to get the ball because it was the last game on this field. And when I was coming off the field, I saw a gentleman at the Parks and Rec department in Laurel hastily headed my direction, like out the corner of my eye. And then like the next thing I knew, like, bam, she was right there. I wasn't 3 steps off the field. I mean, I had just exited the gate and she was there. And she said, "What do you have to say now to me, and punched me." So,
It happened that fast.
that fast. I stuck my hand up like this and I was like, "You need to get away." And she was just, so.
So after she struck you, was there some people there that helped and come to your defense, or were you just kind of left out on an island by yourself?
No, the minute that, I mean, it was really loud when she punched me. And the minute she did, like, everybody was like, "Oh my God," and started telling me, "You can't do that. Don't do that." And just like, I was surrounded. But the Parks and Recreation guy, he was coming and she fled. She punched me and fled. And so he followed her and out to the parking lot and took a picture of her vehicle and her tag. And he was on the phone with the police. And so they actually called her before she didn't get too far. She didn't get to the interstate, and they had pulled her over and they arrested her.
So they arrested her. So, excuse me. So when the police come back to you, did they ask you if you wanted to press charges?
Yes, there was a policeman that came to the sportsplex and took my statement, and they had kind of radioed him that they had pulled who they thought was the suspect over and could I identify her from her driver's license photo. And so they sent the cop that was with me her photo, and I identified her that way, and they arrested her.
So she's gone now. You're laying there. Did they have to call an ambulance? Did the ambulance come take you, or were you able to go on your own?
I didn't call an ambulance. I actually never fell down. Like, how, I don't know, but I did. I kind of stumbled, but I didn't fall completely down. And they offered to call an ambulance, but I refused it. I didn't
Well,
go.
I know you and I exchanged text messages yesterday, and you had mentioned that you were at the hospital having a CAT scan done. Did you get the test results back from that?
I did. I went to the doctor yesterday because my ear had continually been hurting since she punched me, and I was just a little concerned about that. And of course, this hurts, but I was just concerned about my ear still hurting, so I went to just have it checked out. My eardrum is bruised, but it's not ruptured, so that's good. And I did go to the hospital and have a CAT scan done because he thought that this was pretty severe, so he wanted to just make sure that my cheekbone wasn't fractured.
It looks nasty.
Yeah. So thankfully, nothing is broken. So,
No concussion?
no concussion, nothing was broken.
Well, you're lucky, Kristi.
I'm hard-headed. I've been told that all my life. It's hard-headed.
Yeah, that is. Well, thanks for sharing your story and clearing that up. I know there were some posts out there. There was some confusion that it may have been a coach that had assaulted you.
No.
But we've got it straight now that it was actually a fan. Now, you and I talked a little bit earlier today about the repercussions in some of these states of what will transpire. And we talked about that. We thought that Texas, it was a felony. Louisiana might be a felony. Alabama, a felony. I know in Minnesota, we talked on our show a couple of weeks ago on the lineup that Minnesota is $1,000 fine. Do you know what happened to her in Mississippi?
Yes. She was taken to jail, and I actually had to go to the police station and sign the charges that I pressed against her. She bonded right out. She paid $422.25.
$422. She posted bond and she's back out on the street.
Yes.
Do you have a court hearing yet set?
I do. We have a probable cause hearing tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
Yes. So we'll go with that, and hopefully, in my opinion, this was premeditated. This wasn't, she verbally threatened me, and then she hid for at least an inning and a half to 2 innings of a ball game and waited for me to come out, and then physically assaulted me. To me, that's premeditation. So my hope is that I can present my case to the judge in the morning, and hopefully he will change the charges from just simple assault to something a little bit more severe than that.
Yeah, well, we're definitely interested in hearing the outcome of that. If you could shoot me a text message or something tomorrow,
Sure.
just let me know
Yeah.
what happens there. You know, what what made you make that post on Sunday night after all of this developed?
This has been, as the UIC for the state of Mississippi for the organization that I do, I struggle every week to find enough umpires to staff our tournaments. Like I cover all the way from Gulfport all the way up to North Mississippi and the Ripley area, and it just becomes harder and harder every week to find enough umpires to cover these tournaments so these kids can play these games and have, hopefully a good experience at these and play the game that they love. But yeah, I just kept thinking, I need to share this story because this is not okay, and this is why there is a nationwide shortage of officials, because this kind of thing happens and you get a slap on the wrist and there's no real repercussions. But
Big reason.
what is it going to take? What is it going to be next time? What if she would have went to her car and got a gun and shot me? What if she would have had a knife and stabbed me? Or what if she did like the official, I don't remember, it was last year or the year before, that got followed to the parking lot and they beat him so bad with a baseball bat, he died 3 days later. Something's got to be done. We've got to change the laws for sure in Mississippi and even nationwide as a whole, that this is not okay. You cannot put your hands on an official of any sport. This has got to stop.
Well, we talked about this. We discussed it on our show a couple of weeks ago on the lineup, and there was a coach in Texas that was shoved during a boys' baseball game, and the outrage over that was just astounding. That people have to put up with that. Then we get to this week and we see your post on Sunday, and believe it or not, another coach in Texas was shoved by an umpire. I'm sorry, an umpire was shoved by a coach again. After all of that. So, I don't know what the answer is or how it's going to stop. I think laws and legislations will have to be passed in order to prevent this. But just like you said, simply slapping him on the wrist is not going to do it.
And she even made a post on her Facebook bragging about it. Like
Really.
Oh yeah, like she wasn't going to be disrespected like that, and you weren't going to cross that line and get away with it, and all this stuff. And like she got a misdemeanor that she was going to beat and F us all and what we thought and something like to that effect. I mean, she thought it was funny. I mean, she was inconvenienced maybe an hour or
Right.
so out of her day, and she went on her merry little way and went home.
Kristi, how long have you been umpiring?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Have you ever come close to anything like this in your umpiring career?
No, I mean, we get the general heckling, come on, Blue,
Sure.
you missed that one. Where's your glasses?
We expect
blah, blah,
that.
blah. Yeah, we all, that's been always, and that always will be, but to nothing to this level, nothing even close.
Well, Kristi, I'm sorry that this happened to you. It shouldn't happen to anybody. I want to thank you for your time and sharing your story with us.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully this will help us. And when I say us, I'm talking about umpires, because I'm a 29-year umpire myself. And I'm hoping that this will help us get some laws passed and these events that will hopefully deter this stuff from happening in the future.
Yes.
It's awful. And, it's a shame that something has to go to this length in order to get something done.
It does. It really does. And I'm going to do everything that I can. I'll be reaching out. I mean, when this settles down a little bit, because it's just been a whirlwind for me ever since Monday morning. But I'm going to reach out to my legislation and, see what I can do to help get something passed for sure, in the state of Mississippi and whatever. If I think my story is probably nationwide at this point, but
I believe it is.
yeah, I mean, if I have to be the one to, help push it and get it out there, and if I can just save one official from this happening to again, it'll be worth it.
Well, I imagine the outpouring of support that's come your way has been tremendous over the last 24 to 48 hours based on what I saw from social media. So,
Yes.
hopefully this will raise the awareness that we need to get this stuff done. Kristi, I want to thank you for your time. We're going to get your story out there. And I look forward to hearing what the outcome of that court hearing is tomorrow.
Yes,
If you don't mind, just shoot me a small text message when you get a minute. And that way I can share it with everybody and let them know what's happening.
I'll be happy to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Kristi. I appreciate it.